Hey there, it's Has here, and today we'll finally go through a topic that a lot of you asked and hopefully help in the process, and that is gearing. I'm actually somewhat baffled that the game itself isn't doing a great job introducing the gear system. In fact, it's barely doing it at all, and a lot of the great features they added into the game, most new players don't even know about, which feels like a waste, but either way, that's what this video is about. It's mainly intended for beginners, but as always, it might have some information that's useful for others, and if you're looking for additional guides and information, check out the rest of the channel. So one of the most recurring questions I see is how to get good items, which abilities are useful, and how to make a set, or how could you wear the items you like but also have useful skills, and I'll answer all these questions in that order more or less. First of all then, shopping. The most obvious way of acquiring new items is through the various shops of the game. This refreshes daily, and you're able to buy all items listed, provided you have the money for it. This is randomized, and some of them might have less slots, others more, but the good thing is that if you get the same item again in the shop, you can purchase it again to increase the star level of your existing one and give it another secondary ability slot. This is the most basic form of purchasing new gear, and it's really straightforward. So let's get into the not so obvious ways that I feel the game should show new players better. You have probably noticed that once you played a few online matches, you can see people you played with scattered along Splatoon, with quotes, drawings, and stuff like that. If you've met a player who's wearing some really nice stuff, or you'd like to have it for yourself, whether because of skills or looks, you can find them around Splatoon, and in fact, if you talk to them, you can request their gear for purchase. This is the important part. Next to the entrance of the lobby, you can find merch, a special villager who can handle exclusive shopping for you through orders. Anything you order from other players, you will be able to buy it from merch the next day. This is possibly the easiest way to get items you like, since the shops are pretty random when it comes to getting lucky through them. Another method is what I mentioned in yesterday's tips video. If you don't mind using a smartphone, you can download the Nintendo Switch app and through it Splatnet 3. In this app, apart from various other features, from event QR code reading or checking your stats, you can also order special exclusive gear that you can buy through merch. I would say these are the main methods of buying yourself more items or clothes, or at least this should be more than plenty for now. So let's take a look at abilities. First of all, you can check every single ability in the game in your menu by going over status and abilities. Hovering over them will explain the basics of what they do, and if you're really interested in advanced information about them, Splatoon has a great Wikipedia. I won't go through all of them, but rather a few I recommend for new players that can really make a difference and are easy to use in my opinion. The way abilities work is that you have one primary ability on your clothes and maximum 3 secondary abilities. Primary slots gives you 10 points and secondaries give you 3 points to the ability's effectiveness. This is where the Wikipedia gets really useful. So what this means is that the more slots you use for a given ability, the better its effects will be. Though it definitely has a recommended limit, it's worth researching and trying out yourself what you prefer, and also checking out which abilities can be on which clothes, as there are some exclusive abilities too that can only appear as primary. Again, please check out the Wikipedia, as each ability has a nice graph showing you their ability point progression. But let's take a look at some of my recommendations. First, the most obvious one is swim speed. It's a very straightforward and easy to understand advantage that applies to multiple parts of the gameplay really, so everyone benefits from it no matter what. Since it increases your swimming speed in ink significantly, you'll be able to travel around the stage faster. So for example, at the start of the match, you'll be able to get to the middle and in a good position before your opponents. Or if you get splatted, it will be that much faster to get back into action if you choose not to super jump. It might not seem like a big deal, but Splatoon matches are short and hectic, and every single second counts if you can make use of them. Same goes for battles. You can chase after other players faster or get away quick if you feel you could get splatted. I'm sure we all had moments where it would have been good to be just a bit faster. Swim speed is especially good for frontliners or slayers who are in the thick of battle and are using somewhat more short-range guns, so you get that extra mobility. The second ability I would recommend is Special Charge Up. This one is also on my list as it's very easy to use and everyone can see its benefits. What it does is it decreases the amount of inking points required to charge up your special. You can see this amount on your weapon stats when you're looking at them, and just give an example, 30 ability points would decrease the charge level of 200 to around 150 I believe, which is nothing to scoff at. This will charge up your specials faster, will allow you to use them more in a single battle, and especially as a new player where specials get splats, this will massively increase your performance, considering I see everyone spamming Reef Slider or Tanta missiles all the time for easy splats. This ability is technically great for anyone, but it also depends on how much you like using your special on a given weapon or how good your painting ability is, since it requires paint. And for the third ability recommended for beginners, I like to say any of the ink recovery abilities. This means ink recovery or both ink saver abilities. Ink recovery speeds up the time when you recover your ink while swimming, and ink saver main or ink saver sub decreases the amount of ink either your main weapon or your sub weapons or grenades require. The reason I find this ability useful for new players is that while you are still practicing your aim, you will waste a lot of ink and find yourself sometimes in the situation that you're out of ink and you get splatted because of it. So this will help you either recover or just able to use more ink. The other reason is that, again, ink management can be a bit tricky, especially with very expensive sub-weapons, if you don't know when it's worth using them. So both ink recovery and ink saver will help you use your sub-weapons more often instead of being afraid to use them in fear of running out of ink. There are several other abilities that I think are really good to look at for solo queue, or if you are new, but those three I think are the most obvious choices. And for the final part of this video, and probably the most important part, is managing your abilities. Now this is the part I wish they would show everyone more, because I think a lot of players just completely miss merch. Once again, let's visit merch next to the lobby and take a look at some of the options and features available to us. We already know we can order clothes from both Splatnet and players, but what else is here? The two most important sections are scrub slots and add abilities. Starting with slot scrubbing, what you can do here is, for a hefty price, you can scrub every secondary ability from a given item, turning the slots back to empty question marks, while turning those used up secondary abilities into ability chunks or tokens. Now you might ask what the hell are ability chunks, but instead of me explaining, let's go into the next section, which is add abilities, and give you an example. Add abilities will allow you to change both your primary or secondary abilities on any of your clothes for the price of ability chunks. So in easy terms, you can level up items and then pay to remove those abilities from them and turn them into tokens. Later, you can use those tokens to put your favorite abilities onto your favorite clothes and look the way you'd like, and also use the abilities you prefer playing, and voila. Now keep in mind this process is extremely expensive. They require both a lot of money, as scrubbing costs 20,000 each, and adding a primary ability costs 45 tokens or chunks, while secondaries cost 10. So this is definitely a long-term progression and save-up game, but it's still important to know so you can plan ahead with items you like and abilities you'd prefer to have. And that is it for this abilities and gear guide for Splatoon 3. Hope it was helpful and useful. I certainly hope it helped new players understand how abilities work in Splatoon, and I know it might feel like a chore, but I truly recommend checking out the Wikipedia for each ability you're interested in, as there are graphs showing you their effectiveness with the amount of ability points you use. If I missed anything important or made mistakes, please help me out. It's all really appreciated in the comment section. And thank you so much for the support on all these Splatoon videos. We have grown so much in the past few days, and I've got so much support that it's really just thank you very much. I hope you all like my content. I'll be back with more. Until then, take care and bye-bye.